Now speak to Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, Joey Concepcion. Good morning, Secretary Joey. Thank you so much for taking our call. Now, to address the issue of expiring COVID vaccines, you're urging the government to require booster cards from people entering establishments. Please tell us a little bit more about this, and when do you propose for this to be implemented?
Good morning, Ria. Basically, what I've written to the IATF is that sometime June, July, when these vaccines are expiring, about 27 million of that, but not all of that is the government's. No, the private sector has also quite a number of vaccines that are expiring, and we are finding ways how to, at the worst case, export it. But to my mind, what's very important is since we have these boosters, that vaccines that were purchased for our citizens, it's very important that they take it before it expires. So the implementation of the switch from the current vaccine card to the booster card is in the next 2.5 months, which gives more time for our people to take the vaccines. Now, to take these boosters. Just to give an idea, of the national population, it's only basically 13% who have taken their boosters. And while it's true that the government purchased enough, it's better to have more than less. What's very important is that we should not waste them, no? Because this 27 million vaccines, that's about my estimate at $10 each. That's $270 million. So it's going to be hard for us to continue recommending to the government that we purchase vaccines for our citizens if the take-up rate for booster shots, just moving forward, it's not any more primary doses. No, we assume that primary doses will have been completed. It will be booster shots that will be moving along. And if you look at the success of where we are today in terms of the health side, we have basically been able to bring it towards a very low level despite the rallies. And that is a clear testament of what the government and the private sector has done over the last 24 months.
Right. So there's no question of the importance of the vaccines in controlling the pandemic and returning back to normal life. However, we have to admit there would be those people who would oppose this idea of having to present booster cards upon entering establishments. What would you say to those people?
Well, we all know that maybe some people are quite complacent and confident that they're properly protected already. But my concern and the concern of our medical advisors is towards the second semester of this year as the primary doses wane, and they do wane. Boosters are the key to sustaining the health situation in this country. And, we have now the conflict in Russia and Ukraine, and that is creating some economic turbulence. And if we allow the move back to higher alert levels because of the infection levels going up, especially as these rallies start to peak towards May, then we may be back to where we started. And all our MSMEs will again go to this whole issue of restricted movement, which we don't want to see. We already are rebounding. Many of our MSMEs are rebounding, and infection levels are fine. So let's not get complacent, because clearly all over the world, boosters are being given to their respective citizens. And if these do expire in June, July, will the next administration continue to buy vaccines for its citizens? Now, the question is, if the uptake is going to be low, then why should the government buy it? And maybe they should turn it over to the private sector and the respective citizens, but then people will have to pay for these vaccines. And even then, the uptake of the vaccines now that they will pay will be much, much lower. So I think it's really just reminding our Filipino people that the urgency, we are in a state that people doubted that we would have reached this level. No, it's to a large extent we are moving towards endemicity. No, and let's not be complacent, because that can all be taken back from us.
That is true. Sir, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it. That was Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship, Joey Concepcion.